What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Engine Swap Supply. Today we're going to be installing our RideTech suspension on our C3 Corvette. Now, last time you guys saw the car, we did the fuel system on it, and we've actually done some changes to it since then. We've been gathering parts. Now, that was like a couple years ago when parts were really hard to get. Since our order, they actually updated it a little bit. Now, they've always had these really nice trailing arms, these nice offset trailing arms, but now they offered it with the option of a C7 hub. And recently, the front system you could upgrade. They just came out with these spindles that can upgrade to the C7 hub. Now, the only thing is, like, when you do the C7 hub stuff, you have to run C5 and C6 calipers. Same thing with the front. It allows you to run C5, C6 brakes, which gave us the opportunity to get, we have some carbon ceramics for this car. It overall looks really nice. We'll show you more videos or more footage of that. And I think my only complaint with C3, and this has been like since day one, is we could not, with the RideTech C3 stuff, is that they wouldn't do rack and pinion. Minor complaint, not really a big deal. But we actually will be installing these on we picked on our 72 frame, because while we were like modifying the car and doing some stuff on it, we noticed that the frame was a little bit more rusty than we would like. And we could have gone and fixed it when we pulled the body off, but we actually found another 1972 frame that was already like powder coated and whatnot. So we picked that up. So we'll do the front stiffening on that. We'll stiffen the front up a little bit on that, and then we'll be installing these parts about as far as we can go. We don't have a rear end for it yet. RideTech does offer a 9-inch package for it, so we'll probably do that. I was going to use it original, get it built, but we'll probably just jump to the 9-inch because of the amount of power we're going to be putting down through it. We are installing one of our LTRs on it, which we'll save that for another video, but it's our fully forged version of our LT5, so let's just get started. All right, guys, so this is the new frame. Basically what we need to do is reinforce certain areas. I forgot where we got these from, but basically they go here. I guess there was some small differences in 60, like the 68, 69. Because I see some frames, this area is straight, and they're like, go up here. So I'm gonna try finagle it in here maybe. We've got these, I know one of them goes, two of them like reinforce this for the steering, and then a few more come over here for the engine mount. Actually, I think this one does pretty much sit in here like this somehow. So basically we're reinforcing these, the steering, and then up here. We got this one that was already coated. I tried grinding some off. It seems powder coated, because it did take a minute to come off, so we're just basically gonna grind all this wherever we're gonna weld, or see exactly where these go, grind off it, and see if we can weld these in. I got it figured out. So these two are where the control arms hook up. Each motor mount has one here, and then there's one right there. And those are, I guess those are the main weak points of this, how the motor's set up in the C3s and C2s. And then of course we'll put these two up front up there for the sway bar. Alright guys, we're going to assemble the front coilovers first. You're kind of gonna, every car is different obviously. The C3 has this stuff. You're gonna ignore this now because this goes like on the frame. So first thing, they give you two collars, top collars. This one actually adds like this one actually adds like an inch of height. Don't know why you want that, but it's an option for you. This is the one we're going to use, a standard one, and they give you these, I guess this is their, instead of using the bearing or whatever, this is what they come with. So this is actually the bottom, and they use a little set screw once to kind of clamp it down. But set this on first. And they don't say to do this, but we always put anti-seize on here. It just makes it way easier to turn. And you want to put the set screw in here. When you put the spring on there and they're asking for, like, they ask for like 1 pound or whatever of compression, or 1 inch of from here to here, whatever, which we'll go over later, but just put your set screw in and you want to tighten it down. Don't do it without it. We did that on one of our other cars, and it quickly learned that you want to give it some tension in here. All right, so you got your coilover. If you guys can't see the top, sorry, I'm trying to get you a good angle here, but you're gonna stick one of these plastic washer things there. Then you're gonna grab your spring. Make sure they use Hyperco. I like everything reading right side up, but realistically it doesn't really matter. Set that guy on there. Here's your top. And I'm just gonna set this guy on here like this. Sorry if you can't see, guys. Get your this little snap ring thing they give you, and you're just gonna set it right there. And then, I guess the best way we'll actually flip these upside down, and then get this nice and centered. Maybe, sometimes. There you go. That's just one coilover assembled. Get it a little snug. You don't want it too tight, but you want some grip there. That's basically assembling your coilover. Now, before we actually put this in the car, I'll actually loosen this. Like I said, I'll put anti-seize pretty much like this all through here. So yeah, so this top part you're gonna worry about on the car, but now you have an assembled coilover. This is for the front. And if for whatever reason you need an inch of more height, you could swap this top for this top, and it would gain you that a little bit more ride height. All right, guys, so now we're back onto the frame. We're starting doing the front control arms. I got D for danger, or driver side, whatever you prefer. You have to actually assemble, like, it's not really assemble, you just have to put the washers and the little lock nuts. It gives you these things right here. They have little dimples on this side, and they're also chamfered. So you want the chamfer or dimple side to go on the outside. And then you just assemble these, but got some tools, so we'll assemble these real quick. So the next thing you want to do is you want to drill this top hole out, so you can so this little lip right here of the top dowel rim bushing can slide in. No fitty. Let's drill that out a bit. It's not much. Oops. All right, now she fits in there. Just make sure the bottom bushing's on. See, now we have a bunch more thread exposed. Cap on. And you can tighten this guy down, just by hand. All right, so I'll tighten this up by hand a little bit. So it kind of keeps the tension up here. And then we'll try and turn it. All right, we're gonna try and lift this guy up. This can be a little finicky, guys, so take your time on it. And you can, remember you got a bunch of points of adjustment, so. Washer, lock nut. And you can't really see it because of this thing, but there's one. I'll probably tighten this by hand a little bit. We'll tighten these down to exact spec later. Now, something like you might not notice on the, might not tell you, or the original cars, the bolt side of the, I guess the head of the bolt on OEM was on this side, and then the threads would point out. Almost every time we built the car, those threads have gotten in the way, so we'd have to kind of grind them down. So I did it the other way, so the thread, and these were, since there was no 2 1/4, I got 2 1/2. So I don't see a reason why these would be an issue pointing out this way. If they are, we can cut them. But that's why I did it that way. All right, guys, and next up, we're gonna put on the spindles. Now, these are the C7 hub spindles. RideTech just came out with these. We had the rear C7 hub kit on order, and then we had the front kit on order, but with the regular style, like the whatever spindles they've been using for years, for their drop spindles. And we even had the OEM like brake kit for that spindle, but they dropped these right before that kit was due for us, so we actually just changed it last minute to get the C7 hub ones. And there's no left or right, and it looks like these are the ones they use on all like the C10 and whatnot. So super cool design. They include, I mean, we'll assemble it. I think we bought like 2 brackets or something to try and run the C6 kit on the regular tall spindle. But either way, much easier to use, a lot beefier too. So, and since it's a C7 hub, you don't gotta get the brakes with all the bearings and stuff inside. So super cool. There you go. Put your spindle on. And tighten this guy. Now I know these will go up some more, but there you go. All right, guys, so now we're gonna move on to the rear. RideTech does include this top brace here. So it'll make it easier for you to drop the rear end without doing a whole bunch of other stuff. We're doing a 9-inch. I don't have the 9-inch yet, so we're just gonna bolt it all on so we get the coilovers on and then the trailing arms. But RideTech does include these studs that go here. I did film it. Our mic ran out of batteries, so I got no audio. But basically, definitely tap this little area here, and then they include the studs. You want to insert the stud about 3/4 of an inch in, and then this guy sits like this, obviously. So I'm gonna try and get a different angle. Okay, so RideTech gives you the 2 nuts, lock nuts and just regular nut with the washers. You're gonna want to put one washer with the regular nut first, once you slide this up here. and then they give you like some bushings, and that's what you use the lock nuts for. So right now we're just gonna try and set this guy on here. All right, so these are the bushings I told you about. You got that little Delrin or Teflon down here. Basically just go up like this. Washer, lock nut, and then you torque these to 50 foot-pounds too. All right guys, so next I'm gonna start installing the rear trailing arms. I don't have the hubs for them yet. I have to order them, but at least this will get them on there, and then we can run the coilovers. So RideTech gives you plenty of spacers. They're not called spacers, I can't remember what they're called, but you put them in here and then you shove the cotter pin, and it kind of, it will center the trailing arm in this spot. And you're supposed to put what your car originally had, but this is a frame, so there's measurements you could do. We'll measure them later and then we'll offset it or whatnot. But they do give you the, I didn't bring them. They do give you the bushings that go here, and you're just gonna slide it in, put the bolt through, let it hang, that's pretty much it. All right guys, I just went ahead and did some measuring. You can see the shims in there, the little silver things. I just did some measuring. I got the control arm, or the trailing arm, pretty much centered. So you can see the shims in there. They give you, RideTech gives you more than enough to get that figured out. And then, if you see right here is where the cotter pin goes, which goes all the way through. There you go guys, that's the rear kit installed. Like I said, we're still missing stuff for the rear end. And then there's like a rod joint, strut joint, whatever, that goes underneath. We didn't install that, we don't have the rear end. And I don't have I was gonna do the brakes, but I don't have the rear hubs yet. And they were just gonna be bolted on there for show anyways, but there's the front, and then or the back, I'm sorry. And then here's the front. I see here's the rear strut and stuff, the strut bars for the rear. And under brace, and I have one of they give you the axles, or the actual, where you bolt the axles to, C7 hub thing. They give you that and a bunch of hardware. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. We got the RideTech front suspension and rear suspension on. We're still missing some stuff like the front steering. We'll be doing the Borgeson box, so that we'll do the steering when we do that right before we put the motor in, which is actually pretty much ready. We have the short block and everything. It's one of our LTRs. We'll post some pictures. And if you guys want more information on what an LTR is, it's essentially our Ford's version of a LT5, which is now discontinued. We'll link we have a older video explaining a little bit better. We'll link it. And then on the rear, we're missing like what connects to the differential housing and stuff like that. Since we're doing the Curry 9-inch, we're just waiting on that to get the axles on and everything. But if you guys like the RideTech stuff and how it look, we do offer complete RideTech kits. We are adding them to our website pretty much daily. We have a lot of the C10, first gen. We'll get the C3. If it's not on there now, it'll be on there soon. And then just anything they offer, we're adding it to the site. So check out the website. We'll link the website down below, and it'll be in the suspension tab. So that's gonna do it for this video, guys. We'll see you in the next one.